Hey, what's good, everybody? How's it going? Happy Wednesday. Welcome to another episode of Sit Down and Shut Up. Sorry, God, I have to adjust this microphone every time. Yeah. Well, I have like this boom that sticks off the side of my desk. And like when I'm not streaming, I have to move it off to the side so, it's not in my way. And every time I do that, it seems like it's never in the right spot. So anyway, welcome to Sit Down and Shut Up. Another session today. Looks like we have ravs. So let me get them on. One sec here. Respectfully, sit down and shut up. Sit down and watch respectfully. I like it.
Hello.
Hey, Ravs, how's it going?
It is going.
It's
How
going
are you?
good, good. All right, so welcome to the show. I know you had pinged me and we were able to get this set up, so I'm glad you were able to make the time. So I wanted to ask, so what you had put in the note. So normally I ask folks kind of like what they're looking to do and what they're working on. And you had mentioned looking to improve whiff punishing, right? Does that sound about right?
Yeah,
Okay.
I want to just get better at baiting those whiffs and then punishing people for it and
Okay.
everything because I feel like I'm not doing that properly.
Gotcha.
And then I
Gotcha.
get and then I get punished myself.
Okay, yeah, it's like you go for the whiff punish, they don't press anything, you press your button, and then all of a sudden you're in the corner, right? Like,
Exactly.
yeah, no, I
Exactly
feel you,
that.
I feel you. Cool. So, what's your CFN?
It's the same as my
Reps.
name,
All right,
just
cool,
Ravs.
cool.
Yeah.
So let me create the room here. All right, so I don't know if you've seen the show before, but what we're gonna do basically is we're gonna run our first three. So we'll play each other. I'll kind of get a sense of where you're at, kind of what you're struggling with, if the things you're talking about, if it's more apparent or not. After that, we'll do a little replay review. So we'll do a replay review of one of the games that we play, as well as one of the games that you sent me. You sent me a couple of replays, right? So we'll take a look at that too. Mostly because like I want to, we want to compare what's happening in matches against me versus matches with like other folks, right?
Right.
So let me go and invite you to the room. And then after that, if there's anything, we'll do a little lab work potentially. So if there are like specific situations that, or a situation rather, that we want to kind of dive into, we can definitely do that. I suspect there might be, given you want to look at like with punishing in particular, but we'll see how we'll see how the night goes. If we can find enough examples in the replays to talk about. But again, if there's something you want to dive into, we can. And then after that, we can run it back, run another first three, see if anything kind of clicks for you or anything like that, and go from there, right? So, sound reasonable?
Yeah, sounds good.
Cool. Let me get you invited to the room here.
I've also never seen the show. I didn't even know this was a show, so this is fun.
Okay, cool. Great.
Okay.
Yeah, so I am streaming this on Twitch, so and you'll have a VOD for this after. I'll post it on my YouTube channel so you can review this later at any point. So,
Okay, cool.
all right, cool. So go ahead and queue up. I'm going to deafen in Discord while we're playing. This is mostly because I tend to talk a lot during these, so I don't want to impact anything you're doing while we're playing. I also mentioned that I may not rematch right away, so as like I kind of articulate the thoughts that I have and whatever else I'm seeing or thinking, I'm gonna kind of articulate that on stream so that when you watch this later, you'll see what I'm thinking during our games. But yeah, if I don't rematch like right away, don't worry about it. I'm still here. The timer may run down though, right? So okay. Other than that, good luck.
All right, thank you.
What's up, Zane? Hey, Son Volter. Thanks for popping in. Zane, we'll do the crossover soon, man. I'm thinking like a EU US thing at some point. We'll get there. Truth for yeah. All right, let's see what's going on here. Okay. Okay, a lot of buttons, very active. Oop. A reversal? Oh, no reversal. Oh. Oh, that was nice. Man, that DDT does mad damage. Look at that crap. DDT does mad damage. Okay. So what I'm noticing now is that they're very active on offense, right? Like you can see me kind of not moving, and they're pressing a lot of buttons, right? kind of whiffing them in neutral, which is kind of what they were talking about. So my guess here is that they've been using kind of Luke's crouchy medium punches and good buttons to kind of bully their way in. But I think now what's probably happening to them is they're running into opponents that just don't press, right? Like if I was mashing a lot in this situation, like I'm pressing a bunch of buttons, Luke's buttons are actually probably going to beat me, right? Like if you saw in the situation where I tried to just kind of mash through one of the strings and I got counter hit, right? So what's happening now, I think, is that because I'm not pressing a lot of buttons, they're trying to press more. And I think that's what's getting them killed right now. Oh, I didn't hit confirm that at all. Hey, Satoru, what's good? Easy Young, good to see you guys. Satoru, you're a demon, bro. What are you, top 32ing TNS now? Come on, get out of here. Just to let you guys know, Satoru is an SDSU alumni, so any of his success I'm going to take credit for. Just saying. Also kind of inactive on defense, right? So, a couple of things I'm noticing. One, again, like the neutral game, I think there's probably some holes we can kind of talk about and patch up. But in the corner, I think they're very passive, which is not necessarily a bad thing. The issue is that if I'm running an offense where I'm also kind of passive, it's very difficult to get out of the corner in that scenario, right? So let's see what happens if I just go for like whiff punishes here. Okay. See the conversion. Hey, Ray, what's going on? Oh. Safe jump misses, or maybe they went for an empty jump low. Oh. So you see, if I am a little more active and I just like press a ton of buttons, this playstyle is gonna eat me up. Because Luke has very good buttons, right? Dude, if I focus more on counter poking, right? Yeah. Oh, what a parry. Yo, Ancross, thanks for the sub. Prime, appreciate you. Yeah, I haven't seen the reversal yet. You gotta represent that option. Oh! Okay. No burnout streak. Yeah. I mean, Luke has a pretty good way to bully me in burnout, but they could just be there being a little passive there. So let's bring him back on and see what's going on. Hey, Ravs, what do you think? How'd that go for you? What do you think?
Well, I definitely noticed that. Yeah, once you get me in the corner, I just fucking die.
Fall apart. That's way more common than you think. It happens to everyone at every level in this game, honestly. The way that corner pressure is kind of set up and the way that it goes here, it's really difficult to deal with, right? Especially when someone's applying it in kind of this consistent manner, right? Where they're just kind of like, you saw what I was kind of doing, right? I wasn't really overcommitting. I wasn't really kind of going for throw loops or anything. I would just kind of walk up, knock you down, maybe apply a little light pressure that you block, and then I would stand outside of that range until you try to press something, and then I would just whiff punish you for it, right? So let's take a look at one of the replays here, and I think we can kind of see a couple of situations as to what was happening. So there's kind of two parts that I kind of want to focus on for this, I think. The first one's going to be the neutral game. So like you said, with punishing and all that, we'll talk about that. And then the second thing is going to be corner defense, right? And some of the options you may have out of that, right? So.
Are you going to share your screen?
Yeah, I will. Let me just get the replay
Okay.
up, and then I will share my screen in Discord, so you'll see it. You'll see it without any lag, right? So.
Yeah.
Yep. One sec here. All right, so I think this first one is probably going to be the one we want to watch. So let's take a look here. Let me know if you can see my screen.
Yeah, I can see it.
Let's watch it. Let's let this play out a little bit, and we'll see what I'm talking about here. All right, so, first game, first match. I don't think we've really played each other too often, if ever. Maybe once or twice in the past in one of the Warriors Den's rooms at some point, but we're kind of just feeling each other out, right? Like, I'm not quite sure how you play neutral. You're not quite sure how I play, so, this is totally fine, right? All right, so I kind of do something aggressive here, right? I kind of tag you with a longer range button as you're pressing something, it looks like.
Yeah, I backdashed, I think.
Yeah. You get tagged, and it looks like you're trying to press your stand heavy kick too.
Heavy kick.
Yeah. And that happens, right? Like, you're kind of moving into each other's space. You press the big button. Someone presses it before the other one does. Is what it is. I did kind of catch you at the end of the backdash, though, so that kind of made that tough. And then here, what's tough is I think you were trying to check, or at least just press after that drive rush, right? So from this space, it can be kind of hard to check drive rush. Right here, right? You just gotten hit. So you have to press something pretty quick and something kind of fast, right? So this might have worked had you mashed it out of that, but it can be tough, right? Because you're reacting to the flash, so no big deal. You get hit into a throw. And then here's where it gets tough, right? You're able to get out of this, get a punish counter. Let's see how this plays out. Right? So if you see in the last, like, second or two, right? You press 4 buttons, right? You press kind of a lot. So you get thrown here, right? You land this, you land a stand heavy punch. You don't really cancel this anything, which is fine, I guess. I could have punished this if I was paying attention. I was expecting you to kind of cancel this into like a sandblast or something. So that's why I'm holding parry here, which you don't, and I don't react, right? So it's no big deal. And then you press crouch and medium punch here. You're in your plus after this, so this is fine. And then we end up trading here because I elect to press my crouching medium kick after a little bit of delay. And then you press a bigger button here, right? So something to keep in mind that I'll mention. So even when you're plus here, you're +1, right? It can be very difficult to press a big button after this, right? The reason for that is because if I decide to challenge here, which I do, right? Because even though I'm minus, I just had to challenge here. If you press this big button, you could get hit like this, right? And in fact, if I was on time with my press here, I actually would have counter hit you out of this, right? So something that you'll see players do, or at least, I don't know if all players do this, I definitely do this more, is that when I see players pressing buttons in mid-range like this, and they're using their plus buttons, like Luke's crouching medium punch, +1, perfect, great button, all that, a lot of times players will get a little greedy here, right? They'll press a big button right after this, right? And you see that's exactly what happened, right? You push your medium, I block it, you're plus, you're plus, and then you press a big button after that, right? Because I'm willing to bet 9 times out of 10 people will just respect this and block, right? Like they won't press anything, right? So it's something that you kind of have to watch out for. You can't really be greedy right away, I feel, because you don't quite know exactly how I am reacting to your pressure just yet, right? This is probably the first button you landed on me on block, maybe the second so far, and then you see I immediately go for some sort of reaction option, right? I block even though I'm minus, I go a bar A and go for a button afterwards, right? And in a trade, right? So I'm able to stop your pressure in this case, right? Okay, and you go for another big button here, right? Stand medium punch. Right? I guess it's not really a big button, but it's a button, right? Kind of a longer range button. I think it's a slower startup too. It's like 9 frames or something, right? It's kind of a
Yeah, it's rather big.
yeah.
10 frames. No, 6 frames.
Uh,
Oh no, 9 frames. Nine
9
frames.
frames,
Nine
yeah,
frames.
9 frames, right? So these are big buttons, right? So you're swinging pretty hard here, and to your credit, right? I'm in range for them and I'm blocking, so this is totally fine. It's just this portion right here is where it gets a little tough, right? So I'm actually being a little passive here and kind of waiting to see how you react in this situation. And you can see that what happens here is you whiff this crouching medium punch, and then you whiff a standing medium punch, right? So that situation right there, what that
Uh,
tells me as a player, right, is that you're willing to press even if I'm not necessarily in range, right? So we'll see how this plays out and how that goes for the rest of the set. But something to keep in mind is that that's in my head right now, is that you like to press buttons in the mid range like that, right? So 1, 2, 3, right? 3 buttons. I wasn't in range for any of them, and I don't know if that's just because like you're expecting me to move forward or what the case may be there, but I'm definitely not having to block any of these, right? That was a pretty good counter poke there. Unfortunately, what's happening is I'm noticing that you press buttons after you press a button, right? Like I just talked about how you did that, right? So I just went for a parry here, assuming that you're gonna press another button after this, right? So this is why I was able to do this.
so so with the parry, were you mashing that parry or like do you just
I just press it.
you're just pressing it so you got the perfect parry just
Yeah,
because?
just cause, yeah.
Okay.
Because what happens here is I'm actually -4, right? So you land this. Oh, is it -4?
Yeah, it's minus
Yeah.
4.
And then I just kind of press my parry when I expect the button to come out. Because normally what would happen here is if you land this, I think Luke gets a conversion from this, right? So you should be able to do like stand light punch into some conversion from here around the counter hit.
Uh, crouching light punch.
Yeah.
That's his only 4 frame. Yeah, no, that's what I was going for actually. I
Okay.
think I was just too late if
Sure.
you look at it.
Yeah, maybe you didn't counter hit confirm right away, because normally this would be blood +1 or +2 on hit, right? So you don't normally get a conversion here. When I counter hit, you do, right? So in my mind, I'm like, okay, well, if they're gonna convert from here, then I can press my parry and it doesn't cost me anything because I'm getting hit already, right? There's no reason
Right.
for me not to press that. But if you drop it, right, I'm able to just parry it, right? So I just kind of press my parry. I just press my parry button when I think the next strike might be coming, in the event that you drop the combo, right, or drop the conversion or whatever the case may be. And this is something that I think players, as you go up, you see them do more and more. Like if you watch replays, you'll actually see during combo strings or these kind of light string pressure pieces or whatever, like they're having to block something, you may end up seeing them hitting parry or mashing DP or something during that. And a big reason is because it costs them nothing to do so. Other than your APM, I guess, right? You have to actually press the buttons, right? But
Right.
it's not costing me anything here, and the reward is huge if you drop it and I land this, because even if I don't get the perfect parry here, I'll still parry this strike and I'll still be able to potentially react or do something from there, right? Like I don't just have to block this. I don't have to just hold it. I can go for a parry here. So I don't know if I do this later on. We'll see. But this is kind of in response to me seeing you press a lot of buttons the previous interaction, right? So anyway, we'll go from here. Okay, so here's the corner pressure. So you see the corner pressure I'm applying to you here is this kind of light pressure, like light, meaty, meaty jabs, and that type of stuff. So I'm not really doing any like big home run buttons. I'm not trying to mix you up high-low or anything like that. I'm just going for a meaty strike on here. And this is mostly to get you to block. And you do, right? And you block this very well. So you go for the block here. You block here. Right? Looks like you go for a delay button. So I think that's perfectly acceptable here. If I shimmy you here, you get me out of that. Although it is difficult to go for a delay button on the first strike if it's point blank, because the throw will still beat you here. So if I take the situation, and I think if I mash throw, right, your delay jab will still get beat. And the reason for that is because Ken is still too close for the too close, and the throw will just come out and reach you, right? So if I do 2 buttons, and then you do a delay jab after that, that would likely work if I shimmy. Again, there's no reason why you couldn't go for that, what you did here, because if I do shimmy after 1 strike, it is going to catch me, right? So if I do the same thing and back up, it's going to catch me out of that too, right? So I have no issue with the defensive option you chose here. It's actually really good. So again, I like this situation defended very well. Go from here. All right, so here's where I think it got a little tough for you. You didn't want to jump, right? I guess you assumed I could DP you, and maybe I can, maybe I can't. I don't think there was too many jumps overall in the set. And you don't really want to use drive rush or even use an aggressive option like a low forward drive rush even on block. It looks like you're trying to fight your way out by using Luke's crouching medium punch, which I think is totally fine. I think this is the correct way to fight your way out of the corner in a stable-ish manner. If you wanted to go for something more volatile, right, you want to do a little more risky things, you could jump, right? You could drive rush, raw drive rush, you could drive rush cancel or something else. But I think this is actually fine as a way to get out. The issue is that you plant and don't take up space when I give it to you. Okay, so we take a look at this right here. So my pressure string is effectively over. I'm minus here. I can't really extend without wasting meter, and you're just blocking here. So the only way I can really open you up, I think, is if I throw you. But I'm too far for this now. So if I try to walk up, I think you'd be able to crouching medium punch me here or press a button as I'm walking up. So what you need to be doing here is trying to get space back. Okay, so we'll talk more about the neutral game and why the corner is so bad for that in a bit, but I kind of want to go through the rest of this replay and we'll talk more about why I think what's happening is happening, right? So anyway, from here, we'll let this play out a little bit. Okay. So what's happening is that I'm trying to, I give you a little bit of space to see if you'll move forward and try to press a button. And you don't really. And that's what makes it kind of tough, right? Because when you're playing in the corner like this, and it's neutral, right? Where both characters are standing up, even though, you're in the corner and it's disadvantage, obviously. But if you're in this situation here, you can't adjust your space anymore, right? You can't really adjust and play footsies in a fair manner. So you kind of, one of your best tools for that was walking backwards to control space is now gone, right? You can't really do that anymore because there's nowhere to go. So the way people normally try to get out of this situation, if you're not trying to jump or do something else, right? Like you could do, Luke's jump and then Superman fly across the screen or whatever, or something to that effect if you wanted to. But if you're trying to get out of the corner effectively using just your normals, the way you would do that would be to try to aggressively take your turn and try to get me to block things, right? So walk up, press buttons, and all that, or try to keep me out. As I walk forward, you press a button to try to keep me out. Now, obviously, this is very difficult to defend because me as the offensive player that has the advantage space-wise, I can do anything I want. I can move forward, I can move back, I can adjust space however I want and try to get you to whiff your buttons. So what you kind of have to do is you kind of have to take a little bit more risk than I do because that's just the nature of you being in the corner. So when I back up here a little bit, your option here is to either stand here or you can try to walk forward a little bit. I said you go for a button that whiffs, I think. And if I was paying closer attention, I probably could have whiff punished this with like a crouching medium punch or a stand heavy kick or stand medium kick or something. But I don't. All right, you're in recovery here. Instead, I try to react with my stand light kick and it's too late. Okay, so, but what's happening here is that because you're not really trying to take space up as I kind of back up a little bit to try to get you to whiff something, what this is telling me is that you don't really want to move forward and you don't really want to try to take up that space. You just want to wait for me to make a mistake so that you can back throw me in the corner or jump over me or something like that. Right? So in my head, now that I'm thinking that, I really don't want to get any closer to you in the event that you jump over me, right? Or anything to that effect. Because the best way for you, or one of the easier ways for you to turn the situation around, is to get close enough to force some plus frames, maybe get a strike throw mix and back throw me in the corner, or something to that effect. So instead what happens is you kind of whiff a couple of buttons. And I drop my combo. Tick, jab throw. See right there? This was really good. This right here. Right? I shimmy. You don't bite. I minus. I get a little greedy, and you crouching medium punch me. Interestingly, though, you don't cancel this into a dry brush. Right? So if you were to think about what you were thinking here, is it just like you didn't think about doing that, or what were you thinking?
Definitely wasn't. Probably wasn't thinking that it would actually hit.
Okay.
Or rather, I didn't. Or I missed the button
Okay.
because that happens to me a lot.
Sure,
Too.
and that's fair. You know, sometimes you want to do something and it doesn't quite come out. But let's think about it this way: you have all the meter in the world here. This is basically a full bar. All right, you just took this combo. You made a read on my button here, right? You took your turn aggressively. I pressed a button that was a little bit slow. But if you had drive rush canceled this, right? This is a counter hit, crouch medium punch, right? So
That's a combo.
Yeah, full combo. Crouch medium punch, drive rush cancel, all that good stuff. And you get a full combo. If there's a side switch you can do, you can take it, or you can just take the full damage, go into DDT, or do the triple flash, flash knuckle, whatever the case may be. But the point is, you'd be out of the corner here, and even though you have spent meter to do so, now you're in the game. Okay, so you deal 3,000 ish damage, maybe 3,500. I forget exactly how much Luke does there. It's kind of absurd, right? But you get that full conversion, and now you're 1 to 2 interactions away from winning, and we're back in neutral mid screen. So it should be something you think about to take this risk. When you take this risk and throw this button out, that you do want a buffer behind this, because even if I block this and you drive rush cancel, then you get a mix up. Right? You get a mix up where you can apply some sort of jab, maybe tick throw. You can go right into throw. You can try to get plus frames and force a mix up of some kind. But that, at least you get that. And even if you do the drive rush cancel on block, you still get a little bit of space back. And if you mix me up effectively and I make a mistake and you are able to open me up, even better. But it's definitely better than just standing in the corner and getting beat down. Right? Because every time you make a mistake in a whiff punish something, it's costing you a ton of damage because Ken's corner damage is so high. Right? His mid-screen damage is not great, but his corner damage is really good for meterless. So that's why it seems like you only made 2 or 3 mistakes, but you're almost dead here. So that was good. Unfortunate drop. Oh, that was nice. I was saying here, Luke's DDT is absurd. Does so much damage, right? But I think the mistake here is burning out, unfortunately.
Yeah. No. As soon as I did that, I was like, "Oh shit!"
Right, then you're like, "Oh man, this is gonna be really difficult now because I could just bully you with Jim or whatever." So, what I'll talk about here is that I think your overall game plan would work very well, and we see this in the third game if I show that, but you can look at that in VOD later. It works very well against someone who presses a lot of buttons, because Luke goes toe to toe with people who do that. So if I was a Ken that was just mashing at every opportunity, your Luke would destroy me, right? You would be able to frame trap the crap out of me. You would get every conversion, right? You'd probably it would be 2-0 for sure in a ranked set, right? But when it comes to somebody who isn't pressing as many buttons or is slowing the game down a little bit, I think it feels like you have to force something because you're not getting as many conversions or hits as you're used to, and I think that's what is ultimately I'm taking advantage of in our set. So you can take a look at the next game here, or next round rather, and we'll see if what I was talking about comes up more. Yeah. So whiffing suppressor here, kind of tough. This is a lot of frames. Right?
It's a lot.
Yeah. It's like 30-ish frames. This is like a throw, right? This is like a throw tech whiff. So whiffing suppressor in neutral like this can be devastating, right? If I was a better player and I reacted with something not crouch and medium kick, this is a 3,000 damage punish counter combo, right? Fortunately, I just go for Ken's B&B because I don't react fast enough. Still decent damage, but it is what it is. All right, so again, you just block. Totally fine. But I guess I'll talk about this here. One of the things that in corner defense that you should represent is the reversal. I don't think you reversaled once our entire set. You didn't you know,
The drive
ODDP.
reversal?
No,
Oh,
reversal of any
just
kind.
reversals in general.
Reversal in
Yeah.
general. D-Rev might be one. Super, ODDP, you know, some sort of invulnerable reversal, right? Luke has some good ones, right? All three of them are really good because he gets to have that, right? And then ODDP or, you know, D-Rev, any of those options, you didn't really do any of them, or you didn't represent them. So if you saw in the first game, I was kind of I was doing kind of these light pressure strings and then shimmying you a lot, right? I would just kind of press something and back off, and you wouldn't really either take your turn back or reversal. So in my mind, I'm thinking they're not going to do it. So I just continue with this pressure without really thinking about it. So I know we tell people as they're starting out to just block, right? Block out when you're on defense. You don't need to do anything crazy active. You don't need to delay tech, all that stuff. But you're at a point now where you do need to start doing those things, or at least selecting them every so often, because part of the Oki and part of the Oki game on defense is forcing your opponent to guess as well. So if your opponent never has to guess and they can just do whatever they want on your Oki, eventually they're going to open you up just because they're getting so many chances, right? It's like, you know, in soccer, shots on goal, right? If you shoot at the goal 100 times more than the other team, it's more likely you're going to score more often, right? Or at least have a higher score. So you want to give yourself an opportunity to get back in the game by forcing the opponent to guess in those situations, and representing multiple options. So far you've only represented block. I didn't know you were delay buttoning, but I didn't see it. Right? I would either do a tight string, which means the jab wouldn't come out, or you'd only do the delay button after the first light, in which case I wouldn't, you know, I didn't really see it. Right? I just would press the button and then nothing would happen, which is what's supposed to happen. But I wouldn't know that you doing a delay jab, right? Because nothing happens. So in this case here, how'd you get hit? All right, so you block this, and it looks like you were walking forward, trying to press something. Stand light punch.
Stand light punch.
Yeah. So you get clipped, unfortunately. Is what it is.
Which actually was, like, it was supposed to be a
Delay.
crouching light punch.
Yeah, crouching light punch. Okay. This is Luke's standing light punch is like 6 frames, right? It's kind of slow.
Oh, it's worse than that.
Yeah.
It's gross. 7
Yeah.
frames.
Okay.
Something like that.
Yeah, but he moves
like
forward like the entire screen, right? So I guess it makes for it. Anyway.
Yeah, it makes it worthy, but man, he does not have a usual standing light punch,
Yeah.
which has been thrown, which always threw me off when I was first playing him.
Yeah, I think
he's my only character, but
okay.
my first character that I played.
Right.
So I don't know how to play other characters because of that.
Gotcha. Yeah, I'm a Shoto main. I've been a Shoto main for every Street Fighter I play, so that's just what it is. I totally get it. But yeah, you do probably want to do a 4 frame there potentially. If you were trying to, two dudes on couching for the sub. If you're trying to challenge here, challenging with a jab is probably like a crouching jab, a 4 frame is probably going to be better than a Luke stand jab. At least, you know, in particular for Luke, right? Because of how his jab works. So,
absolutely.
At this situation here, right here, we're actually both in neutral now. If you look at the frame meter, there's nothing like I can advance the frames and nothing's happening. So it's kind of tough, and this is sort of a feel thing, and I'll try to talk about this more, but in a situation like this when both players are standing up, it's kind of like a Mexican showdown, right? You kind of both wanting to see what the other is going to do before you do your thing, and you want to try to react to it. So what I do, and this is kind of a Juzzy thing, if you will, is I tend to just delay a little bit, and then I'll press my crouching medium kick, because I'm Ken, right? That's what we press. But I delayed a little bit and just press. And what this will do is it will catch people trying to press larger buttons or trying to back up in that situation. Now, in this scenario here, it doesn't really make sense for you to back up because you don't have any space, although you do it anyway, probably just out of habit, to hold back here trying to, oh crap, I'm too close. But something that, and I catch a lot of players doing this, and if you watch previous episodes of the show, you'll see me talk about this a lot, is that when two players are standing in a position where it's a little too close and uncomfortable, your initial reaction is to try to back up out of that pressure. Because you know you're standing too close, right? You know that I can hit you with pretty much anything, the same way you can hit me with anything. But instead, I just decide to press and see what happens. And I was fully committed to just canceling to Jin right here. I didn't really, there's no traverse cancel or anything. I was just, doing the cancel here. And it happens to hit you, counter hit. Right? But something that something happens a lot, and I think the way to get around this, or the, I don't want to call it counterplay necessarily, but the way to stop this is to just block. For this situation here, just crouch block, right? And wait to see what happens. If you are not willing to press your button or take your turn back here, then just be willing to block and wait to see what happens. Because for all you know, I may back off too, and if I do that, then we reset back to neutral and you have a chance to get back in. Or I press this button and you block it, and you're able to deal with the Jin Rai potentially, or something to that effect. I'll cancel it, and then you just deal with that, or whatever the case may be. But either of those scenarios is better than getting hit, right? So, okay, so another light jab. So you see, I'm just doing this over and over again. I'm not really changing my pressure in particular. I'm just kind of manually timing meaty jabs and forcing you to block. In the case, I actually miss it here. I miss it by about 3 frames for the actual jab. But you're blocking here, so it doesn't quite matter. You don't delay tech, and you just block. So I just continue my pressure here, and now I'm starting to go for throws. You still don't tech, which is amazing. A lot of people would have teched right there, but that was really good that you didn't reach. And then the unfortunate thing here that happens is after this, I shimmy. I do this button here, and I'm out of range of your stand medium punch, right? So you have to be careful when Ken especially does this stand heavy punch at a little bit of range, because the pushback from this button will put him out of range for a lot of 6-frame buttons, which is unfortunate for people not Ken. Fortunate for me, I like that, but you have to be careful here, because when I press this button, the pushback from this puts me out of range of this, and then I'm able to whiff punish you with a crouch medium kick. Okay, so when you see this situation, and this is more of a Ken thing, but you have to be careful against other characters too that have these type of spacing traps, where they're going to press a big button, you're going to block it, and they're going to be spaced out to where you can't really press a button to beat them, and it's a bit of a mix-up, right? Because you can't really press your crouching medium punches. That's going to get stuffed. If Ken presses their stand medium punch again, or stand heavy punch again, it's going to kind of hit any, and you can't really press 4 frames either. So the only guess here is if I press stand medium or stand heavy punch again, or I press a different button. And unfortunately, you went for the situation where I press stand heavy punch a second time. Because if I do that, after this here, right, and I press another stand medium, stand heavy. I don't know why I keep saying stand medium, stand heavy punch. Right, it counter hits me out of that, and you're able to get a drive rush cancel, get out. But instead, what I do is I just stand there. I let you press the button, because it seems like you have been willing to press after I press something and he blocks something, and then I just whiff punish the crouching medium punch from you that comes out. So yeah, it's something you have to be careful of, and pay attention to the spacing when people throw their buttons out, and it's kind of a matchup thing too. Not everyone has something as privileged as this button to force a space trap, but every character I think in the game can create these sort of spacing traps, right? So I'm sure in your games, you block a big button, you press your crouch and medium punch, and then you get punish countered somehow, right? I mean, that happens to all of us, and I'm sure it's happened in your games too. And that's what's happening. And also, the part that makes this kind of broken, or maybe not broken, but absurd too, is that I, as the Ken player, I don't even really need to think about what I'm doing. I just press the stand heavy punch, and then I just press the crouch and medium kick. And if you decide to press there, you're getting a counter hit. If you don't press there, I just hit something on block. So I don't necessarily need to react there, right? It's kind of absurd, but that's how the space traps work in this game, right? Because the pushback is the way it is, a lot of minus frames, and all that. So all of this is just to say that you have to be careful when you're pressing buttons in neutral and in these sort of take your turn back situations, because you so far have been willing to press a lot of buttons, which is not necessarily a bad thing, right? I mean, I know a lot of players that play very aggressively, they're very active, and it works very well for them. It's just that you have to pick and choose your spots when you want to do that. And with the Luke, he tends to be a little bit better if you play a little bit more of a patient Shoto game, right? If you go for whiff punishes with crouching medium punch, crouching medium kick, use his outstanding fireball to poke at your opponent until they get kind of frustrated, and then you have these super high conversion combos from those buttons. So so yeah, we'll see how the rest of this plays out, but we just have to be careful about button pressing, right? And pressing too often. So I'm gonna get at this. Okay. Did you get whiff punished? So that was good there. Right? You took your turn back kind of aggressively. I don't do anything. I kind of delay. Oh, sorry, I press a big button here. I kind of get greedy, and you just are able to beat me here. Unfortunately, you don't drive rush cancel out of this either. Right? So, yeah, just be willing to do that because remember, you're in the corner, you have meter. If you were going to burn out from that, I would be kind of like, okay, maybe don't do it. But you have meter here. So you might as well have gone for it because, again, you get a full conversion from there if you do. So. Instead, you kind of have to deal with this. And I think what happens here is that since it's 0, I press, and you press a slower button than mine, and it gets counter hit, right? So, and then you get super, right? So, so yeah, I mean, what do you think so far? I think that's really the main thing. The main two things that I'm seeing that we can kind of shore up is really the neutral aspect of pressing too many buttons, both in the corner and in mid screen, as well as corner defense being pressing more. Going for reversals and doing some other defensive options more often. So how's that? What do you think so far?
I think that's good. I've been taking notes.
All right, cool. And again, you'll have the VOD. I'll upload this probably tonight. Well, I actually probably tomorrow because it takes forever to convert these now. But yeah, I'll upload it and you know you'll be able to see it on YouTube. That it's better than the Twitch player. Twitch, if you're watching, fix your freaking video player, man. It sucks. All right, cool. So
Awesome.
From here, let's take a look at one of the replays you sent me. Kind of want to see how your games have been going. And I'm hoping these are ranked matches, so let's take a look.
These definitely are.
Cool. All right, cool. What's it to ya? All right, let's take a look.
Oh, the Ryu. In some of these, I feel like I just fumbled the bag.
Mm-hmm. That can happen this game. You make one mistake, it snowballs. So. Also, I'm in Bay. Thanks for the follow. If you're still around. Okay, so let's take a look at the game. That was pretty good. I don't mind that. Aggressive out of the gate, totally works for me. I don't know what game in the set this is, so I'm just gonna assume it's game 1. But otherwise, I like this. I don't hate this at all. This is good. Okay. Unfortunately, dropped the knuckle, but that's okay. You're still plus. Good. And then kind of go for this jab into medium.
Yeah, that actually, yeah, because I dropped the yeah, that's actually right, because I keep forgetting that I can convert the because that was a drive rush medium punch, right?
Mm-hmm.
So I have enough frames. No, I don't have enough frames actually to convert that a perfect medium knuckle into the heavy punch, the standing heavy punch. Because
mm-hmm.
that was actually supposed to be a crouching heavy punch.
Yeah.
You can see the input even that I screwed it up.
Yeah, you press it a little bit too late and you're not able to get through, but it's okay. I mean, that's just like what I generally say for execution issues is just lab work. Spending a little time in the lab, maybe warming up before ranked, whatever the case may be. It's just a matter of practice, and I wouldn't be too concerned about that in particular. Again, mostly because it's something you can just work on, and you'll improve as you play more and more, right? So I'm not too worried about that. So you press this jab here into the medium punch. Kind of fake, but the Ryu doesn't take their turn back aggressively. They try to press their own crouching medium punch, and it's late. So you counter it here. Let's see the conversion. Ooh, okay. So I'm pretty sure Luke gets something off of this. Yeah.
I could have converted. I could have done like another medium knuckle out of it, or even just a what's it called? A light knuckle to get the knockdown.
Okay. Because I think from
or
here,
another drive rush.
No, yeah, you could drive rush, or you get a second crouching media punch if I'm not mistaken. Let's see.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure I can. I just.
Okay. Maybe it's out of range in that scenario. Okay, that's fair. Maybe it would just be a cancel, or maybe you would drive rush, whatever the case may have been there. Could be, it could be something like that, right? You do this.
Yeah, I've gotten hit with I've gotten screwed over by.
Yeah, or something like that. But
yeah. No, I've gotten screwed over by the double medium punch with the second one whiffing
Whiffing.
because I'm out of range, and
Yeah,
then I
yeah,
get punished for it, and it's like, what?
yeah. I was plus, and they hit them. Why is yeah? I mean that happens when you whiff something. The recovery frames in this game are longer than they have been in past games, so that's what'll happen. So anyway, no big deal. You don't get a conversion here. You could go for also like sandblast potentially, or some whatever the case may be.
Exactly.
So here, right. So this whiff here, like you obviously are buffering this, right? I don't know if you're expecting them to press and whiffing it out of range to try to buffer, or if you need this to land, but whiffing this can be very difficult to deal with. Like, it can be hard for you to... it's hard if you're whiffing that, I guess I'm trying to say. You don't want to whiff that, is what I guess what I'm getting at. Mostly, again, because the Ryu had just gotten hit here. So let's talk about the footsies aspect, I suppose. So the Ryu just got hit here. He's minus, and he also just blocks this thing. The stand medium punch, I think is what this is. So it is his turn. Right? And doing this potentially might have worked against a player that is very active. So if Ryu had mashed something here, this probably would work. So right here, and the Ryu decides to press their crouch medium kick. Right? You actually get beat. Right? So what that means is that trying to press that crouching medium punch after your -3 in this scenario here, after your stand light punch or stand medium punch, is going to get beat by 9 or 8 frames or better. Right? So you familiar with frame data, I'm assuming, or seen it, know what I'm talking about here for that, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So that's kind of something that you have to consider when you're structuring how you want to press buttons. Because the scenario we just looked at, it shows that even if the Ryu had decided to mash their crouching medium kick against your button there, it actually would have beaten it. And so if I do that instead, right, you get hit there. So what that means is that when you're trying to steal turns, which is what that is there, you have to be careful about the button selection that you want to try to steal with. Okay, so trying to press a 6 frame when you're -3 means that 8 frame will beat you. And most crouching medium kicks in this game are 8 frames. Right? So you have to be careful there against someone that'll mash crouching medium kick, especially when they're plus. People will see they'll block something, they'll assume they're plus or they know they're plus, and they'll just press and take their turn back. And you trying to steal it with a bigger button like that is going to get you counter hit a lot of the time. Now, granted, in the situation that we're looking at here, Ryu doesn't do anything, he just kind of whiff, but then he tags you anyway because you press another button afterwards. Right? So you whiff the button and then you whiff again, whiff a second one. Capcom, make it so I can back easier. All right, so block, right? Minus, Ryu doesn't press. You press yours, you whiff, and then you press it again. In fact, you press the stand medium punch this time, so even slower of a move, right? And you get counter hit out of that. So what this means is that I think for your neutral game, when you want to try to improve what's happening here, you kind of want to change what buttons you're selecting in these types of situations. So typically going for a slower button when you're minus is not always going to work out. In fact, it'll probably work out less at these MRs where people don't really respect anything. Right? So in fact, they're actually doing the right thing. So they're +3 in that scenario. So they should be pressing something, or they should be taking their turn back. The unfortunate thing is that you're trying to steal the turn with something that would lose to what they're going to be doing anyway, right? So what I think for you, the actionable thing here would be that when you press a button and it's blocked, you would ideally just continue blocking on your side. So you press that stand medium punch, it's blocked. Or not stand medium punch, but if you press something that's blocked, that's minus, you just continue blocking afterwards. You don't really need to be aggressive and steal your turn back. There are situations where you can do that, but you have to get to that point in the game before you can. right? Because if almost everyone's default is to try to take their turn back aggressively, so they want to press their buttons and they want to press their buttons when they're plus. In my case, press buttons when minus, but anyway, they want to press their buttons. So if you can find a way to prevent them from pressing buttons there, whether that be because you're now applying some other situation, you apply something that forces them to not do that, that's when you can start stealing those turns. But for now, in neutral here, the Ryu is being rewarded, big reward actually, for doing what they're supposed to be doing, right? So you don't want to necessarily give them the opportunity. So what I guess you could also do, and this is something that I don't know if I want to recommend it, but it is an option, is if you are going to continue to try to steal the turn, you would steal it with a faster button. So maybe the stand light kick or something else that would potentially counter hit a bigger button from them. So if you look at the situation here, after this +3 situation, whiff, right? You would press something faster. So it's tough here because you whiff, but the Ryu doesn't really press anything afterwards, right? So you whiff here. Oh crap.
Oh boy.
Right.
I see what you mean about Capcom not,
I know.
not letting you control it. That's silly.
It's gonna be kind of tough in the replay review, so you have to bear with me a little bit. That's why I have to when I roll it back, it's easier to roll back and go forward than it is to actually just rewind frame by frame. So from this situation here, right, we continue on. You whiff. See that? So if you want to try to, all right, thanks for the sub. If you want to try to take your turn back aggressively, press something faster. So even though you're -3 here, if the Ryu elects to press something slower, like his 8-frame crouching like medium punch or something, or slower, or is late, you could potentially tag them with a stand light kick here. And then from here, you would just do, I think you would probably just do a sandblast, right? So. Oh,
Yeah,
that's not it.
Sandblast or light knuckle.
Right, something like that. So that situation could be something you do against players that are taking their turn back aggressively. Oh, anything bagel? Thanks for the sub. That's what I'm talking about, right? Is that the button selection in that scenario is, I think, what's getting you hit more often than not in these scenarios. So you can change that by either continuing to block afterwards, or you can press a faster button to try to steal. Now that's a little greedy, and I think that you may get punished for that more. But that is something you can do if against someone that is doing what this Ryu player is doing, which is trying to take the turn back aggressively, right? Because even though you're -3, Ryu pressing the 8-frame means that you can still beat them with a 5-frame or faster, right? Or I guess it'd be 4-frame technically. I think, is Luke stand light kicks 4-frame?
5
No,
frames.
5-frame. Okay, so in this case, it was because the Ryu, I think, actually was late, right, on their press. But imagine that you trade. Right? If they were immediately pressing and you trade, that's still better than taking a full combo from them, right? So something to consider when you're creating your neutral game plan, right? Because right now it feels like you're kind of pressing a button and then pressing another button and then pressing another button, and then there's not really a coherent plan around what's going to happen, right? So I press my button, hit or block, whatever. I press the next button, hit or block, right? In this case, what you're thinking now is if I press a button and it happens to be blocked, what are my options afterwards? Can I press something else to steal the turn? Can I be aggressive here? Or do I want to just block, right, and just kind of wait it out? Or, something else potentially. Maybe you go for a parry. Maybe you go for DI. Something like that. Maybe not DI. Don't do that. Don't do that. Don't DI, yes. But there's going to be something behind, like, the next step, the next stage, right? And this is how I think players build their neutral game plan, is like as you watch higher level players like play, you'll see that anytime they press something, there's always some sort of intention behind it. No matter what it is. Like it's very rare for a pro to just be whiffing buttons in neutral. It's more likely that they're expecting something or trying to buffer something. So like they're expecting Jury to dash, they're expecting a DJ drive rush or something to that effect. But there's some intention behind every button they press. So that's kind of what I think you need to start doing you know, slowly working it in, right? It doesn't have to be right away where everything is always planned out, but like take small situations, especially with Luke, right? Crouching medium punch on block, you're +1. What are the situations you can do, right? What can the opponent do? What can you do? What would the follow list be? What would the outcomes of those things be, right? And you can build from there, right? It doesn't have to be super complicated necessarily. You can just pick 1 or 2 options and autopilot through it. And if it works, great. And if it doesn't work, you try to create an autopilot that keeps you safe after. So like for Luke, you just press crouch and medium punch and then maybe stand light kick or something where if they try to press, they may get counter hit. But if they try to mash on you, you know, you'll be safe to it or something to that effect, right? So you're trying to reduce your overall risk. Because right now what's happening again, and you saw it in our game too, was that you would press a button, you'd whiff another button, and then you would get punished pretty hard for it, right? And I think that's what actually happens here is he gets a drive rush cancel crouching medium kick, right? So, you know, go from here. Right, Tatsu. Let's see the Oki. This is actually good. This is a good hit, right? Okay. It would have been dope if that actually landed, but that's fine. +1 for them, right?
And I stole the turn there.
Yeah. So what did they press? So they pressed crouching medium kick. Okay. So this is fine. I did this to you earlier. Now, again, you have to be careful about when and where you apply this, but this Ryu has, in 2 situations, woken up with a crouching medium kick, or at least pressed it right away. So that you just need to be, since you're either aware of that or you stole the turn and it worked out, it's something to consider now, right? Is that the Ryu likes to do this action, right? And you steal a turn, this is beautiful, right? You press a faster button here, challenge of the 4 frame. If they press a 5 framer here, it would trade. If they push their jab, it may whiff, right? So this is perfectly fine. Fortunately, no driver's cancel behind that. Would have been dope, but is what it is. And then we see this pattern again, right? One, 2, 3. Right? Yeah, you have to be careful about whiffing buttons in neutral and autopiloting through that. It looks like you're trying to hit a driver's cancel, and it may work if the Ryu was trying to press something, but against a player that won't press anything in that scenario because they're going to whiff too, it can be tough to be doing this, right? If the Ryu was paying closer to... Oh, I guess he does get you. I was going to say, if the Ryu was paying attention, he could whiff punish you here, and he does, with a big button too. This is a 10-frame button here, right? Or a 9-frame button. So it's a pretty big button he's whiff punishing with. Burns out is what it is. Okay. So this scenario right here, life is about even. Maybe you have a little bit less. That's okay. But you have all the meat in the world here, right? So be willing to use it. I know you've been trying, I think, to get through that, but oh, that was sick. Okay. That's so dope, dude. The auto shimmy with the wake up suppressor to beat the... Oh, man, that's so sick. Okay, this was good. I think it's a good spend. Good, right? And look at this conversion. Like, look at that damage, right? That's absurd. That's Ryu level damage, right? That you're doing with 1 bar, right? That's so good. So anyway, that was good. That was good. So you were able to whiff punish the that coming in. I think that's fine. You went for a very passive defensive option, just blocking to stand up. The Ryu elected not to do anything, so that's okay. Wow. Okay, so was he trying to reversal here? Maybe trying to wake a level 1? Okay, so your plus, what was your setup?
That's what happened.
Yeah.
That's what happened. My dash, my timing for the Oki on the crouching medium kick was off.
Oh yeah, a little bit late.
That's what happened.
Yeah, because you're still he's still recovering here, right? So you get 1 dash. I think you have another. Let's see, 18 to 8 frames or so. So yeah, I mean that's just lab work. Figuring out how you want to, figure out your Oki from there. That's just lab work. He misses, and he actually gets you with this. I think he was trying to wake up with a level 1 here, but it worked out. Because if you had landed that meaty, you actually counter hit him out of the DP, right? So he goes through this again. Ooh. Okay. Donkey kick. Not bad. I don't mind that usage of meter there, trying to blow up a fireball. I think that's okay. It works out. Oh, what a read. Okay. So the Ryu just goes for it, right?
He just went for it.
He and
Hatsued me to death.
and it worked out, unfortunately for you. But this is that kind of high risk that if you were just kind of walking him down, because he's burned out. Like parry, walk forward, take up space here. Like he's burned out. There shouldn't be any reason why you want to play the fireball game against Ryu in this scenario. Like just walk forward, take up space, force him to do something. Because if you would walk forward and not thrown that fireball, which I guess he made a hard read, he would have Tatsu'd into you and you would kill him. But unfortunately, what happened? Instead, you get burned out here, and now you're in trouble, right? Ooh, baited. So, reversaling more often, but maybe not waiting for the very last interaction to do it, right? It is something that is kind of telegraphed, unfortunately, and you should. And it's hard because what are you going to do here? You can't take a throw, so delay teching is kind of a you can't take a throw. So you want to do something that beats throw, but delay tech is going to kill you anyway. One throw is going to kill you, and you're burned out here. So any amount of, if you make a mistake here, you're going to die. So your best bet probably is to reversal here, because what else can you do? Of course you're going to reversal. You're going to die otherwise. But unfortunately, because of that knowledge and that situational knowledge or situational awareness, the opponent sees that coming too. So they have to make a choice. Are they going to not do that, or are they going to shimmy you or do something else? Or try to bait the reversal, or are they just going to apply pressure? Oh, they know, I know, or whatever you want to call it, right? They are ready. So, unfortunately, get beat by that. So yeah, I do think that this particular round, a lot of where it kind of fell apart for you really was some of those neutral decisions where you decided to press a larger button on block after you were minus to some degree. You were trying to steal turns in situations where it's difficult to steal turns, and unfortunately it actually got punished because the opponent doing what they're supposed to be doing, which is take their turn, actually lands a punish counter in those scenarios. So something you can lab out or kind of work out, or even watch high level Lukes. I don't know how much you wanted to dig into that, but you can watch higher level Lukes and see how they structure their offensive pressure in neutral. What buttons do they press? And when something is blocked, what button do they press after that? And when something is hit, what do they press? Or, what are they doing in neutral, generally speaking, right? Because you can always look up combos, right? Look up setups and do all that. It's totally fine. But the aspect of the game that I think you want the most help with, which is the neutral aspect here, I think you can learn a lot by just looking at how high-level Lukes structure their offensive pressure in neutral. So they press crouching medium punch, it's blocked. What do they do? You press the stand heavy punch, it's blocked. What do you do? Right? That type of thing can help a lot. Even if you just emulate it without really thinking about it, it'll probably work out more often than not. And then from there, you can kind of figure out why that's working. Right? Like you press this button that's +1, and then you press this other button that seems to always frame trap what opponents do. Okay, seems kind of good, right? Let me look more into that and see why that's happening. Or maybe not. You just use it. It's totally fine too. So.
I've been playing this game for 2 years, and I still have not looked at other movements.
Dude, I know it's so easy to just continue playing the game. Like you obviously know how to play the game. You made master. This is not free at all, right? You actually have to play the game to get there and know how to do certain things, right? It's just now I think those certain things that you've been relying on, people are starting to be able to counter that, or it doesn't quite work anymore. So how do you get better? Now you have to try to figure out add these other components to your game, right? That's really where I think that's where you're going to get the most benefit. Unfortunately, your drive rush, Rapstar drive rush gets beaten by a fireball here. Okay. All right, so let's see what happened here. Whiff. Yeah, see the counter hit there? That's what's happening to you a lot, at least in this game. And I would imagine in your games, if you watch your replay, you probably get counter hit a lot. And this is why. So you whiff a button, you go for another button here. This is a jab, so it's kind of, well, let's stand light punch for Luke, which is not great, which we established. But the Ryu just presses their crouching meter kick and tags you. Right. Goes for meaty solar plexus. Right. And tags you trying to jump. So I don't necessarily hate the idea to jump here if you are reading like they're going to walk up throw. But you do, I think it's probably better to block though. Like if you're reading a throw, that's totally fine. But if you're not sure, I think just blocking or delay teching is probably fine here. Okay, meaty solar plexus again. And then you're trying to jump still. Traverse throw. Good reversal. So something that happens in this game, it's totally anecdotal, totally something that there's no science behind this at all. We have no idea why this is, but it is the case, is the rule of threes. People really don't like losing 3 interactions in a row. So on the 3rd or 4th interaction, they will reversal. Right? So if we take a look. 1, 2, 3, reversal. Oh, this is 4 actually. 5. Okay, so maybe a little bit sooner than that, but that is something that happens a lot. I probably should have been paying attention before I made that joke, but something that does happen a lot is that people will tend to reversal on the 3rd or 4th interaction they lose. Typically the 3rd, actually. Human nature, I don't know what to call it. So reversaling sooner than that might not be a bad idea, especially against Ryu here that has been being aggressive, right? They have gone for like meaty solar plexus and other things of that nature. And especially for meaty solar plexus, they have to commit to that kind of early. So you could reversal through that if you see it coming, if you're paying attention. It can be kind of tough, but if you're paying attention, you can. So I think you represent a reversal here, which is totally fine. I think you probably could have done it sooner, maybe on this interaction right here. I'm sorry, not right here. Could have reversaled. I think it would have been fine too. But yeah, I mean, is what it is. Reversal timings here, I think you just kind of have to get a sense for when you think the opponent will continue their pressure. In this case, Ryu was not stopping, so at any point you could have reversal, it would have been fine. Absolutely the correct call here, though. Alright, so back to neutral. The good thing now is that you have a ton of meter to work with. They have only 1 bar because they've been trying to be aggressive. They still have super, but it's not a big deal. Okay, go for this full range zoning aspect. Go for the jump and get aired. Alright. 0. Ooh. Will you try to press a suppressor there?
I think so, yeah. Yep, suppressor.
Yeah, suppressor. Okay.
Yeah, you got me too early.
Yeah.
Iyasho got me.
Actually, was good. That was a good DI. Oh no! Drop it. Okay. Ooh. Oh, and then you got caught backing up. I can't. Okay. Here you block high. You're still blocking high. You don't transition to crouch blocking. You just get tagged. So yeah, I think the main takeaway from these 2 replays that we looked at is that when you're pressing buttons in neutral, you want to be careful about what your follow-ups are on hit or on block. Try not to use mediums into heavies on block because that typically will get punished by people mashing things. If you want to try to steal turns, use a lighter button behind it instead. So like we saw that in an example with the stand light kick, right? So you press the, your stand medium punch is -3, but then you would just immediately press stand light kick and buffer a fireball behind that, and that would counter hit anything if the Ryu is slow on their response or press something bigger, right? So I think that's the main thing. Corner defense wise, I actually think that maybe this game wasn't the best showcase of it, but it looks like you kind of pick the same option over and over again. Like in this case, you were trying to jump and you got tagged twice for trying to jump. So you just have to think about, like, defensively it can be kind of tough. And I hate trying to describe this because I never feel like I describe it properly. But if you think about Oki situations, like you're waking up and the opponent has an Oki situation on you where they can go for some sort of meaty strike throw or some plus frames or whatever. Most of the time, you have a set of defensive options you can select from. So the idea would be for you to rotate what defensive option you're choosing. So if you think or if you recognize the setup too, that can influence that. But typically, you kind of want to go through your defensive options and just pick them. So reversal every so often. Either that maybe that is a DRev, maybe that is the ODDP, maybe it is level 1, whatever the case may be. But reversal every so often, go for delayed text every so often if the situation allows you to do so and makes sense. If shimmy is not going to kill you. Sometimes wake up button can be good too if you read that the opponent is shimmying or doing something that can be beat by wake up button. You do delay button, which is good. That can be really strong against the pressure, at least the pressure that I was running, which was the light, the meaty lights and stuff. And other guys just blocking, right? It can be good too. So, but yeah, I think that kind of covers what I wanted to talk about for this. Let's
Okay.
see. What else can I talk about here? So what do you think so far? Let me pause there and ask you, how do you feel about what I've been talking about? Is that kind of making sense, or
It is,
what do you think?
it is making sense.
Okay.
It's making a lot of sense. The different button pressing that I've been doing, like particularly in neutral, like that's something that I've always kind of struggled with. That's like, what do I do?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Like, how do I go in there? And I mean, I've heard it several times from other people too. Is just, you just gotta walk forward, and I
Yeah.
really need to do that more. That's one of those things that I
Yeah.
think, yeah, I
Yeah.
just need to do that more.
I
Walk
think so.
forward,
Walk forward.
crouch,
Yeah.
block,
Yeah. So
crouch block more.
yeah, walk forward, crouch, take up space, right? Footsies, quote unquote, footsies is all about space control. Everyone talks about godlike neutral games and playing footsies and all that, and honestly, footsies is overrated. I'm gonna say that right here, right now. Footsies is overrated. The reason for that is because footsies is a response to all of the neutral skip options being checked by both sides. So like Luke doesn't really have a bunch of neutral skips other than like drive rush, right? Like he can't really get around neutral the same way like Ken can do like a dragon lash or Honda can headbutt, right, or something to that effect. Like you can drive rush in. I think what else Luke can do for that, but not really a whole lot that I've seen anyway, or at least that I see often. So the way Luke kind of gets in is just by walking forward. So I
There,
guess
there's
yeah.
there's a cheeky way to do it.
Mm-hmm.
He's got his OD Avenger.
Oh, the
That
the command dash, right?
the command dash,
Yeah.
when it's OD, has a armor for one hit, which
Mm-hmm.
is can be really disgusting if you call it out right.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Because yeah, you can also you can also buffer level 2 out of that too.
Right, and then so if
Actually,
they do something, you would just level 2 in response, right? Yeah. Or no, sorry, perfect knuckle, right? That's the other one. You could perfect knuckle, and if you have level 3, you would just cancel into super, so they can't really DI that. Or sorry, fully charge knuckle. Sorry, not perfect knuckle, charge knuckle, right? Charge knuckle
char-
neutral. Yeah,
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 heavy,
yeah. Charge
yeah,
heavy.
charge heavy knuckle.
Yeah,
And if they DI, then yeah, you can
you
buff
need
the
level
level
3. Yeah.
3 out of it, and
Um,
then
so I guess what I can talk about here and ask is, have you seen? It's a video called "The Footsie's Trilemma" by High Fight. It kind of goes over the Footsie's triangle. Are you familiar with that at all? Have you seen that? Heard about that?
I mean, I know of the triangle. I
Okay.
don't know about that particular video.
Okay.
Uh, attacking with
Mm-hmm,
punishing,
mm-hmm. Yeah.
defending by poking,
Yeah.
and
Yeah. Yeah.
yeah.
Cool. So that is kind of how you would approach the neutral game here. But yeah, I think, and since you've seen it, you can probably try to apply that to your game. And the thing that you're not doing right now is walking forward and trying to take up space, right? Because in footsies, or neutral in particular, I'll mention this here, is that when someone walks forward in neutral, like if both players are standing still, right, and someone walks forward into someone else's space or effective range, that's going to elicit some sort of response. That could be they walk forward themselves, maybe they press a button, maybe they walk back, maybe they try to whiff punish, whatever. They'll react in some capacity. So footsies is all about figuring out what that reaction is when you walk into their space and then trying to apply the correct counter to it. So if you walk into someone's space and they react by pressing a button, the counter would be to walk into their space, walk out of it to bait them to press the button you whiff punish. If you walk forward and their response is to back up, the correct the counter, one of the counters anyway, would be for you to continue walking forward because your forward walk speed is probably faster than their back walk speed. Continue walking forward and press a button to tag them walking back or moving, right? Or maybe they don't react at all; they just continue to block. Maybe the response there is now you can walk up and press your button, and because they're being so passive, now you can walk up and throw to open them up, right? So, like that neutral aspect, that mind game that's being played, that's really the essence, if you will, of the footsie's ground-based neutral game. The problem is that you don't have to play that in this game, right? I'm willing to bet money that you played against a Ken that will just Dragon Lash you all day. Drive rush, light punch, throw fireballs, Dragon Lash, and then that's all they do, and they might win. Hondas do headbutts, Blanca's Blanca balls, right? All of these things exist in this game, and you can do that and be very effective with it, right? I've lost to camis who do nothing but hooligan, right? And I can't counter it because you just lose to it. So once you're able to counter those things, that's when that comes into play. Now, the way that we were playing these games in this last game we looked at, I think that it would have applied pretty well here. You just have to honestly, some of it is just lab work where you kind of work on the space that you need to be standing at for your buttons to hit, right? You saw that when we looked at the replays, there's a couple of situations where you were standing kind of far and you were just kind of whiffing buttons, right? And just pressing, and the opponent wasn't doing anything. And eventually you're going to get whiff punished if that's the case. So you just have to kind of figure out what range or what space you want to be standing at so that your buttons are the most effective, and then you can go from there, right? Maybe you adjust a little bit, try to whiff punish things. Maybe you walk forward to try to press and hit them, right? But again, I think the biggest thing to help your game right now would be for you to press different buttons when you land something. So don't go medium into heavy or medium into medium. Maybe go medium into light or just medium, right? Also be willing to spend meter, especially in the corner. If you have 6 bars, that should be the green light for you to go for a drive rush cancel. Even on block, at least you get the space back. Like if you do a crush medium punch is blocked, you go in drive rush, you press a button, go for a tick throw of some kind. Even if you do that, and your opponent manages to defend it with like a throw tech or whatever, at least you get some space back, and now you can go back to playing neutral, right? Try to do the whiff punch game and all that. So cool. Okay. Great. What do you think so far? Anything else you can think of question wise I can try to go over?
I guess I just have to look up high level Lukes.
Might be the easiest way to do it. Because I don't play Luke, so I can't really tell you. There are some good Luke players out there, right? Hopefully they're in chat. But you can definitely talk to folks in Discord about that. I know there's some great players in the Warriors Den as well as in Fight Rise, so you can definitely ask. Or you can just watch replays, right? And go from there. Because however is easiest for you to learn and pick up on it. It could be any either of those things. So. Cool, man.
Yeah.
You want to run it back? You have time for the first 3?
Yeah, let's do it.
All right. All right, cool. Let's go and queue up. We'll leave the mics hot. We can talk about the game as we're playing, but yeah. Again, I think just try not to press a big button if a medium button is blocked. So would be the main thing. It's a very difficult habit to break, I think, because it's probably been working for you, but now that it may not be, you have to consider what to do next. So see how it goes.
We'll see.
Yeah. Nice. Nice parry.
Ooh, got me.
See, that was nice. Walk up. Ooh, I dropped my combo unfortunately, but but you saw how effective that was. You just kind of walked up, pressed your button, and I just had to take it. Right, I couldn't do anything about that. It was nice. Nice. Oh. Good conversion. Nice. Nice.
Oh. Nope. You're too patient.
Oh, I pressed.
Uh-oh.
Oh.
Oh no.
Oh, it caught me
Oh
on my jump.
no.
Nerf Luke's level 1, man. Come on.
That
was
so
sick.
fucking disgusting.
Oh, that was filthy.
Oh shit.
There you go. That's what you got. You got to walk forward if I back up a little bit. Yeah, perfect.
Oh. Oh no.
Oh, I lagged.
Ah. I think I'm. Yep. Dead.
That was close. That was close. But you saw how effective it was for you in the corner when I backed up a little bit. You just kind of walked forward and took up space, and I had to deal with that because my back walk speed is not as fast as your forward walk speed. So doing that made me have to change how I'm trying to whiff punish you in the corner, right? So that's a good thing.
Okay. Yeah, just gotta be more aggressive in taking space.
Yeah. Like if I'm willing to give it up. Oh, nice. See? Perfect.
Oh. Oh shit.
Oh.
Oh no. I wasn't close enough. Shit.
Oh,
Now you do.
not the last one. Not the last
Not
one.
the last one. Not the last one.
Previous one would have worked though, I think. Yeah.
Okay. Okay.
Nice. Oh,
Oh
can't
no.
whiff that button.
That's not the right one. That's not the OP for it.
Nice.
Oh.
Oh, you gotta be careful.
I did not want to go for the overhead there. Oh, you knew.
Ah! Oh.
Oh. Oh no! What the fuck happened? No!
You just stopped moving.
I just stopped moving. I was my light knuckle. It was supposed to come out, and it didn't come out.
It just stopped, and I was like, what? Okay.
I'm so upset. That's okay though. Oh shit. Oh.
Oh, nice. Nice.
There's my fucking light knuckle. Holy shit.
Uh-oh.
Ooh. Oh.
Oh. Uh-oh.
Uh-oh.
Oh, no. Ah,
Oh,
traded.
You still fucking hit me too. Oh, Jesus. Oh no.
Hey, careful. If you do something like that, that's kind of minus. Definitely don't press there. Nice tech.
Oh no. You know how to perfect parry those.
Well,
Oh.
I just went for it and it worked out. I don't always time it perfectly. It just happens sometimes. Oh,
Damn.
You're pressing. Yeah, what's happening there is I'm reading the rhythm of when you want to press and just kind of trying to disrupt that. Oh, nice. That was a nice walk up.
That's not the right way to do it. It
It's tough
needs
to
to do
undo
heavy
the
punch.
muscle memory, so totally understand if it. Oh, oh, nice,
Left to
very
spend it.
nice, very nice.
Thank you, thank you.
Good spin.
It's one of his more damaging ones. Oh no.
Oh, I don't know if I would have killed it off a jab, but this is gonna burn you out. I think, right? Oh no, it's not.
No, it's it hurts though. Oh shit. Ooh. Ah, I shouldn't have gone for the full thing.
Yeah, the turret combo in that situation is kind of unsafe, right? If I see that, I would just, since the life is what it was, I would just mash ODDP. But I know the result was kind of the same in terms of overall game. But if you look in the game itself, the situations you were able to manage.
I was doing much better.
Yeah, you navigated it way better, right? Like you were not pressing buttons that allowed me to take when I took my turn back. You got punished for. That was a big one, right? The amount of damage you take from that is huge, right? So if you prevent that, just that, like you saw how much closer those rounds were, right? What I was doing to kind of beat you in those scenarios was, maybe my neutral's a little bit better. I was able to whiff punish more effectively, but that's just practice. But you were reducing the amount of situations where you were reducing the unforced errors, if you will, right? You were putting yourself in a better position to win. Better reversal usage, and meter usage was much better too, right? You were actually converting and drive rushing and using meter and going to supers and stuff. So that was great. Your corner pressure is good, man. I mean, if you have someone in the corner there, I think you do pretty well. It's just you need to find a way to get them there. And I think kind of what we talked about is probably a good first step. So cool, man.
Absolutely. Thank you so much for this. This was helpful.
Yeah, I'm glad you were able to get on. Cool, man. So I'm just gonna anything else before we wrap up? You think?
I mean, not really. I mean, I just want to play games now.
Oh, for sure. Right on. So yeah, I'm just gonna I'll do the outro here. I'm just gonna wrap up on stream. So you can hang out in Discord if you want to be muted on stream because I have to do the outro and all that stuff. But yeah, otherwise feel free to hang out if you want. But otherwise, have a good night, man.
Yeah, no, thank you. I'll see you around.
Yeah.
And
yeah, anytime you want games, man, just ping me. Any of the Discords that I'm on, for sure.
Yeah, we'll see. We'll see ya. Thanks again.
Yeah, pleasure. All right, cool. So thanks for watching, everybody. Let's sit down and shut up. Ravs is a great player. I enjoyed playing against them. So anyway, I run these through FightRise. So the FightRise community is a fighting game community focused on Street Fighter 6 mostly. And they do bi-weekly events through their One Fight Stand series, right? So these are 7-round Swiss tournaments for master level players. And if you're not in master, you can get into a pool that has usually around 8 players and get a 7-round round robin. It's a great way to get into tournament style sets, a good way to get experience in the community, playing games and stuff. They also do community showcases through the Urge to Fight series. So there's actually one coming up on Sunday, so you can check them out at twitch.tv/FightRiseFGC. We got a couple of really good players coming up on Sunday. It's Femshep against BJR, two very high level players, really good, and people in the community, right, that are known. So tune in for Sunday. I'll be commentating, so if that's something you're interested in, you can check that out. If you want a session like this for yourself, feel free to join the FightRise Discord. So we'll put the links and everything into the chat, as well as in description below if you're watching this on YouTube and all that stuff. So feel free to join the FightRise Discord. Take a look at a channel called Sit Down and Shut Up. There'll be instructions in the pinned post on how to sign up for one of these, right? So feel free to join that. If you want there's other coaching as well available from Satora, who's been and is always coming here supporting the stream and all that stuff. So thank you again if you're still here. He also is a coach for that. So if you wanted to get coaching from him, you can sign up for that. It's all in the training requests in FightRise. So once you join the Discord, you just ask and someone will help you out on how to schedule these things for yourself if you want it. I'm also part of the Newbie Fight Club. So Newbie Fight Club is another fighting game Discord that is focused on helping newer players get into the game. So a lot of folks that are on here are also on FightRise, so you can always talk to them if you want to. But they focus more on they do lobby nights Monday, Wednesday, Friday. They also do special tournaments sometimes every other Friday. I think I forget the schedule. If you join the Discord for Newbie Fight Club, you can take a look at that and see. And just because Ray was here, I'm gonna plug you guys too. So there's another Discord called Warriors Den that Ray runs, and I think Ravs found me through there. So if you want to join them, I don't actually know how to find them, but if you're watching this and you see them in chat or whatever, I guess try to find a way to reach out to them for that. But they are a great community as well. I don't normally plug them, but I might start because they're great and I enjoy playing games with them. So anyway, thank you guys all for watching. I really appreciate you guys hanging out. I do these for free. It's 100% free. The only thing I get is I get to create content out of what we're doing here, but I do this for the love of the game and love the communities. So thank you again so much for all your supports. I know I don't really talk in chat while I'm training or doing these training sessions, mostly focused on the person I'm training, but I do appreciate all your messages, your follows, and your subs. Really do. It really helps a lot. Thank you so much. I appreciate it. With that, thank you so much for watching and have a good night.